Hello everyone, I am Garima Botra and I am going to talk about sedition in India. So let's start with what is sedition. Sedition is basically an overt conduct such as speech that has a tendency to cause rebellion against an established order. The section 124A of the IPC specifically talks about it. It is illegal in India since 1870 and was introduced by Thomas Babington Macaulay. It was established under the British rule because the British government feared that the Muslim preachers would wage a war against them. Mahatma Gandhi called this section the prince among other sections as this was designed to suppress the liberty of a citizen. Jawaharlal Nehru called this section highly objectionable and obnoxious. However, this was before the independence, but even after the independence, this section got a lot of criticism, and as this was a barrier to the freedom of speech and expression. This section 124A defines sedition as words either spoken or written or by signs or by visible representation or otherwise brings or attempts to bring into hatred or contempt or excites or attempts to excite dissatisfaction towards the government established by the law. Explanation 1 of this section states that the expression dissatisfaction includes disloyalty and all the feelings of enmity. Explanation of 2 of this section clearly states that comments expressing disapprobation of measures of the government in a view to obtain their alteration by lawful means without exciting or attempting to excite hatred, contempt, or dissatisfaction do not constitute to an offense under this section. Explanation 3 of this section states that comments expressing disapprobation of administrative or any other action of the government without exercising or attempting to exercise hatred, contempt, or dissatisfaction do not constitute to an offense under this section. It is important to mention here that sedition is a non-bailable offense and a person guilty under this act can be punished from 3 years to life imprisonment and or fine. The first known and registered case under this section was in Calcutta High Court in 1891. An article published in a Bengali magazine by Jogendra Chandra Bose. This article criticized the Age of Consent Act 1891. In this act, age of consent was for sexual intercourse for a woman was increased from 10 to 12 years, and below this age, it would be considered as a rape. He called this act as a forced Europeanization of India. The Punjab High Court in 1951 and the Allahabad High Court in 1959 declared this section to be unconstitutional. So let's come to the latest cases. In 2012, a cartoonist named Asim Trivedi was charged under this section and was sent to jail for 2 weeks until the charges against him were dropped off. His cartoon named Gang Rape of Mother India, showing Mother India in a tricolor sari with politicians and bureaucrats about to assault her with a beast standing by named Corruption. Another showed national emblem of India, the Ashoka lions, but in place of lions, there were foxes. And instead of Satyameva Jayate, it was written Bhrashtameva Jayate, which means corruption alone triumphs. An activist named Arundhati Roy in 2010 was charged under this section for making an anti-India speech at a seminar for the independence of Kashmir. In 2003, Simranjeet Mann, president of Shiromani Akali Dal Amritsar, was arrested in link with 4 different cases of sedition. He raised pro-Khalistan slogans, he distributed arms to terrorists, and committed other heinous offences. He was also suspected for the assassination of Indira Gandhi, but no evidence could be collected against him. According to National Crime Records Bureau, in 2018, over 70 cases were registered under this provision. But in January 2020, over 3,000 cases were registered under this section during the CAA protests. In February, during the mentioned protests, a 14-year-old girl began her speech shouting Pakistan Zindabad, and she was arrested under this provision. In a similar case, in Kashmir, 3 people were arrested for shouting pro-Pakistan slogans. Out of all the offences committed against the state, this still remains the most controversial one. The 21st Law Commission of India in 2018 made a report in which it gave recommendations regarding the revocation of this law, but its term ended before it could give recommendation. but recommendations were still made by other bodies and organizations, to which Home Ministry's response was there is no proposal to scrap sedition. There is a need to retain this provision for effectively combat anti-national, secessionist and terrorist element. Thank you for watching.